the great Jim Cramer, okay, what is the antonym of Nostradamus? Can you, you know what I'm saying, Rob? Like,
Skip Bayless.
What is the antonym of Nostradamus? They have to come up with. I mean, if there was a antonym for Nostradamus, it'd be Jim Cramer, right? I think that's what I honestly think. The dictionary needs to.
It's called the mush.
They need to really come up with the
Italian days, they
Kramer-damus type of thing. Because whatever he says, dude, go to that tweet right there, Rob, that you had. It's a nice one right there. It's finally happening, okay? Which one? We had a previous. Okay, there you go. The hope we can take the air out of quantum, nuke, crypto, and put money into real economy stocks. If it can be done seamlessly, then we will be fine. Jim Cramer hopes we can take the air out of crypto and put that money into real economy stock. Let me read this to you. So Jim Cramer fears growing influence of crypto over U.S. stocks. He's mainly concerned about people like Anthony Pompliano. He's just really concerned about it.
No, he likes me a lot.
And I'm giving you
You know why?
Why is that?
Because he made a lot of money and he sold the crypto and he bought a farm. So I tell him we own half each.
Okay. All right, so let me go through this. So here we go. CNBC Mad Money host Jim Cramer has raised fresh concerns over what he calls the growing influence of cryptocurrency speculation on the traditional financial system. In a recent post, he described the relationship between crypto and S&P 500, the tail wagging the dog, implying that the volatile digital assets are now dictating the direction of U.S. equities, not the other way around. Crypto suggested that when crypto prices surge, Wall Street follows with gains. And when crypto market crashes, traditional stocks often tumble too. I've been worried this would happen for weeks, he wrote, highlighting how closely correlated the two markets have been. His comments come amid renewed turbulence triggered by U.S.-China trade tensions and growing uncertainty around the Federal Reserve next rate move. Kramer remarks coincided with a market correction that happened in Bitcoin. So what is Kramer saying, and do you agree with him?
I think that...
is it a fear? Is it old school thinking? Is it out of touch? Is it wise? Is it like, Benjamin Franklin, man, go save that penny? Is he trying to get people to, go back to the old way of doing things? Well, what's he concerned about? What's he worried about?
Again, I think that there's a bifurcation that's happening in the market that people who come from the legacy financial system are a little bit slower to maybe understand or adopt. And really it comes down to, yes, there are real economy stocks. You can look at the Facebooks and you can go look at their P&L and their balance sheet and their growth rates and their valuation multiples and all that. And you can go all around the stock market and you can find all these things. I think what you're finding is that a lot of young people, though, understand these new technologies and they say to themselves, well, hold on a second. I'm really interested in artificial intelligence and Bitcoin and stable coins and prediction markets and all these new shiny things that are providing value in a way that these guys are not paying attention to. And so, if you look at, use prediction markets maybe as a great example. I think that a lot of folks in the traditional world are saying to themselves, this prediction market thing is about gambling, right? A lot of young people I know, they're saying that's the source of truth. That is the difference in between these two groups of people. And so if you then look at something like Bitcoin, right, they're saying, hey, that's gambling. Young people are saying that's my savings account. If you look at stable coins, they're saying, oh, that's for gambling. Young people are saying this is a faster, cheaper, better way for me to move money around the world. And so you just have this kind of viewpoint difference, which is fine. I do not think that it would be good for America to take money out of Bitcoin and stablecoins. I think that actually those two things have been very good for America. I think that there are lots of new technologies that are actually the future of America, not the past. And so what we should be trying to do is actually move capital from low multiple, low growth industries into high growth, kind of high impact industries. And I think that's where you see the tech industry kind of leading the way. And Wall Street, they kind of chase where innovation ends up showing up.
Tom, where are you at with this?
Well, I think he said something very interesting. When you talk about the prediction markets, I think you're talking about calcium poly market.
Correct.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about those two things is, when people say Gallup poll says, young people don't trust Gallup. Not because of Gallup, the company, or any bad feeling about it. That's old school to them. And they look at calcium poly market and they see numbers trending and they see real people making real bets. And so their perceptions are, oh, the crowd is coming together and squeezing out the noise and therefore I can trust this. Rightly or wrongly, that's the psychology of the new generation. So when they look at that and they're like, that becomes their analyst. They don't go all the way, scroll 20 lines down, 100 lines down to find out who the 5 tracking analysts are that are saying something about Nike, a stock they like. They go to Polymarket. What is Poly? They go to Kalshi. That's where they go. So it's a whole new perception, and they are in what I call the microwave plus thinking. Everything's got to be the microwave. Go in the microwave, beep, beep, there's my popcorn. They have that same thinking about digital. They don't understand FedEx. Emails right now. They don't have to wait overnight for FedEx. So they are an instantaneous generation coming up that trusts you. And then they say, now I can go trade. And guess what? Crypto allows them to trade right now. They believe in the security of blockchain. They believe in the security of wallets. They love the story about the guy who's trying to dig up an entire dump to find his hard drive and trying to pay the city to do it, because to them, that's just a validation of what's instant. And that's a whole different thinking of shall we say, our nieces and nephews generation coming up, which is the point you were making, right?
I agree. And, you guys remember during the 2024 election when on Polymarket, Trump's odds were significantly higher than the polls? They went and they talked to the guy who's in France, and they said, how did you know that Trump was going to win? And what he said was all the polls, they asked, hey, Tom, who are you going to vote for? And people lie, right? They don't tell the truth. So what he did is he commissioned something called a neighbor poll, which basically he said, hey, Tom, who's your neighbor going to vote for? And all of a sudden, people told the truth. And so this guy had a piece of information.
Great question.
Right? Yeah. This guy had a piece of information that he had actually spent resources to go get. And so he was able to exploit or to get a financial reward for that piece of information. And so if you think about the Nobel Prize that just came out, I don't know if you guys saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same
Maria
thing.
Corina Machado, yeah.
Couple hours before she won it, all of a sudden her odds spiked on the prediction market. Now, it's unclear why did that happen. There's only like 5 or 6 people at the Nobel Foundation that knew that was the winner. So somebody told somebody, and they went into the prediction market. So what the prediction market is basically like an economic bounty. If you have information in the world, we will pay you to make it public. And so if you go through every single one of these things.
We will pay you to make it public?
Correct.
So Polymarket pays you to...
What I mean by that is, let's say there are 5 people at the Nobel Foundation that knew that information. And let's say one of them told a cousin, niece, whatever. All of a sudden, that niece has got a piece of information the world doesn't know yet. So if the niece goes on to Polymarket or Kalshi and says, this is going to be the winner, if they're right, which they believe they are, they get an economic reward. They're going to win because they're betting on the odds. Now, here's where it becomes really interesting is I actually think that this is going to take off in finance. Right now, it's taking off in sports because people are gambling and the odds are a little bit better. You're not betting against a house because of the way that this is structured. But let's take Tesla deliveries. So a lot of people will go buy the Tesla stock going into an earnings report, and they'll say, I think that Tesla's going to beat on the deliveries. So I think the stock's going to go up. Well, as people know, what will happen is Tesla will beat on the deliveries, and maybe their guidance is lower. So the stock actually goes down. So you were right on your analysis, but because it's a complex, valuation, the stock can go down, so it can move against you. So what the prediction markets now do is they create a market and they just say, hey, is Tesla going to beat on the deliveries or not? So you can isolate these data points. Now, the reason why that becomes interesting is you cannot trade on material non-public information. But what if you work at, let's say, the company that makes the windshields, and you start to realize that, hey, the number of windshields that we are sending to Tesla, there's a correlation to whether they beat on deliveries or not. You don't actually have any of the Tesla information, right? And again, I think this is where regulators are going to have to figure out what are the rules here? How do you start to look at this stuff? But now that person who worked at the windshield manufacturer, they're incentivized to give the world the piece of information, which is, hey, Tesla is actually increasing the number of windshields that they're ordering. And so I think that's the type of stuff that we're starting to see is like there's like a market of truth that has an economic reward attached to it. And so I think that is going to ultimately be what people look to.
On Monday, I introduced you to the FLBs, the FLB1 shoes, Future Looks Bright shoes. And let me tell you what happened since that day. For black shoes that we had, I'll give you the report here. For black size, Rob, I think you have it as well, size 8 and 11.5 sold out. If you place the order now, it's pre-order. It'll get here second week of December. For brown, 8, 12, and 13 sold out. Navy, size 13, sold out. Everything you order on those sizes will be pre-order. I shared with you the fact that a lot of the sizes are going to sell out. A lot of them, there's only 4 or 5 or 6 remaining for the shoe sizes. So for some of you that didn't see what we talked about on Monday, for the last 25 years, I speak a lot on stage. And some of the events, whether it's my insurance company or the Vol Conference or BPW, At some events, I can speak 40 hours where I'm on my just standing up talking and I'm wearing dress shoes and they're uncomfortable. I wanted to find a shoe that can combine both the comfort and the technology and the authentic Italian leather, the trainers, because I love those shoes. I didn't want it to be too heavy where I'm feeling like I'm carrying weight. We went to Italy. We put a shoe together called the FLBs. And I want to show you this clip one more time. And then I'm going to show you one other clip. And then we'll give you some intel and then we'll get right into the stories. Go ahead and Rob, play this clip, please. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. So just so you know, if you're wondering, Pomp came in here, he saw all the shoes, and he kind of goes like this. He's like,
I looked under the table.
He's auditing me. He's like, let me see if this guy's a product of the product. 24 days in a row I've been wearing this, just so you know that. 24 days in a row I've been wearing this. No matter where I go, last night I was at Casa D'Angelo, I was wearing this. The most comfortable trainer shoes with the Italian leather. And again, if you haven't placed the order for yourself or your spouse, this was us at the Vol Conference. Rob, if you want to play this clip, the launch of it when we did it here was so exciting. People were coming from all over the world. That was a 10-foot shoe that we put up. But guys coming back, how comfortable it is, how light it is, feeling the super foam at the bottom of it, taking pictures of it, sitting in boardrooms with your feet up where somebody says, wait a minute, does that say Future Looks Bright on the bottom of the shoe? Yes, let's make a deal happen, right? There's a certain sense of optimism when you're wearing these Future Looks Bright shoes. So again, the black and brown, if you order them, we have them now. If they're sold out, pre-order because you'll get it second week of December. The white, when it comes out, it will not last because, you know, there's a certain material that we mixed it with. The white is absolutely ridiculous. This will come out second week of December with the navy blue. The navy blue and the white will come second week of December. The black and the brown are here for you to order, depending on your size. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order, and you can learn more about the comparison of how these shoes compared to a Tom Ford, Rob, if you can go a little bit lower, to a Gucci, to a Berluti, to a Ferragamo, to a Xenia. Make the comparison for yourself. Instead of spending $950, $1198, $95, $840, it's built in the same exact factories as Gucci, Louis Vuitton, same ones, $599. I just put them on this morning. It took me half a second to put them on, and driver came, picked me up, got in the car, came over here. So if you haven't placed the order yet for yourself or somebody else, place the order, go to vtmerch.com. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.